All right, y'all, this is going to be a hard video, so I think we're going to sit on the floor for this one. No. It's a new tripod. This is going to be so hard to talk about, so bear with me. I'm going to do my best. How to use mushrooms, the blue one and the red one, to heal in tandem, when to use one, when to use the other. If you'll notice, I don't have ads on most of my videos. I had to leave here and put all my stuff on my own website. The meat of all of this stuff is over there. Why does it always feel like it's not straight? I have a community called Mushroom Voice, and we're doing dance parties and show and tell. The first Saturday of every month I do a Zoom where I answer questions, whatever. I don't have it written on the schedule that you'll see when you go there because my traveling is erratic right now, and I don't want to put it on there and then not be able to do it because of the documentary that I'm filming about Amanita. But if I'm home, I'm going to do something because it's fun. Healing with psychedelics is not just this linear thing. And I would say even when you're going to therapy, it's not a linear thing. Lots of setbacks sometimes. Having said that, these are living medicines, and they are amazing at doing in minutes what could take you months or a year in therapy. But that doesn't mean you don't need therapy help. And I'm going to say that if you are trying to just take entheogens, thinking that you're going to heal without any other outside help, you are causing yourself a lot of unnecessary pain, and you're making your process unnecessarily long. Integration therapy is absolutely important for healing. So Amanita helps you deal with trauma issues, memories, things that happen to you from pre-birth to about age, developmentally milestone age, 5, 6, 7, that time frame about when that vault closes, from which all of the rest of your personality, life, choices, likes, dislikes come from. So that if you have issues in that part of your life, therapists have a really hard time getting to that and getting that stuff out and getting to the root of your issues, which is why I believe that this mushroom, Amanita, is so very important. Not only to help in suffering and trauma and for yourself and repeating your own cycles and choosing bad things, but also just in healing overall, in your emotional development and growth out of pain and hurting, into emotional maturity, self-awareness, that kind of thing. And then psilocybin works better in your relationships to other people. It does help you with you, sort of like as the secondary effect. So when you feel better, when you're less depressed, more motivated, and doing better, there's immediate medicinal effect for that, but that tends to wear off over time. The mental health side of it, where you're doing the therapy side, that seems to me to be permanent. The lessons you deal with and the things that you learn and the memories you change and heal seem to be permanent, but they are in relationship to others. And so the two medicines to me are amazingly important to use together. I'll have to give you examples, and the only examples I have are myself. So abandonment. So I have my earliest wounding happening when my primary caregiver, my father, left. There was a divorce, he was gone. It was traumatizing. I have very good memories right up until that moment. And then I have these spotty memories for 2 or 3 years after that. But the day that I knew that he was gone was just a complete blank to me. Even in therapy, even in EMDR, all that work, I never knew anything that happened right after I was told that he was gone. There was nothing for years. There's just this emptiness. With Amanita, just Amanita alone, it went into me personally because it is the self mushroom. And I immediately started uncovering and doing the work on that, right? My 18-year marriage ended when I'm filming this 6 months ago. And immediately I took Amanita because I wanted to deal with the pain and the trauma that I was immediately going to be feeling. And then once I did high doses, low doses, high doses, then I did a high dose of psilocybin because I knew I wanted to deal with my relationship, right? First, it was protect my heart, protect the shock, the triggering of that old abandonment from when I was young. I knew that my body was going to go there. I knew I needed to deal with that. I knew I needed to deal with the pain and the grieving. And I didn't want this to turn into panic attacks. I didn't want to start to disassociate and take too long to heal. I wanted to go on and get in there and do damage control, right? And that's what I did, and that's what it did. And I have videos about that. Then, when I did my first high dose of psilocybin for this incident, I immediately had conversations with my higher beingness of me and him, but also intergalactically, big picture stuff, lifetime stuff, contracts, that kind of thing. Then I came back to this medicine to continue to deal with both the original wound and then also today feeling the abandonment or the loneliness and learning I can still make videos, be happy, keep working, keep living my life, keep doing things. And then on some days when this mushroom, the red one, is dealing with some of this stuff, then I'm going to have the sweating, I'm going to have the bad dreams and cry a lot and wake up sad, and I'll probably have a couple of days of grieving. It can be so confusing and hard to tell the difference between taking too much ibo versus taking exactly what I needed and memories or pain or sadness coming up. And then is that actual work on today, or am I just sinking in despair and depression and this isn't working and I can't work for like 2 days. I'm miserable and I'm depressed and I'm hopeless and what's going on. And then, gosh, all I keep thinking about is like, maybe we could work this out down the road. You know, maybe if I could just see him, maybe he would come over. Maybe we could talk about this. Like the divorce is final, it's over. And when my brain starts to do that, I'm going, oh, wait, now I have access to those memories. That's what I did when my father left, is looked out the window, wanted to see him. And indeed, I had visitation. And so that anchored for me. He may be gone and I miss him and I need him and he has abandoned me, but randomly, all of a sudden, I get to see my dad. And all of a sudden, he loves me again. Like, he's there again. He's my dad again. Like, he never left. And then all of a sudden, he's got to take me back. Like, he's rejecting me again. Because I was little, I didn't understand. It was very confusing and traumatizing. And it's easy for my brain to confuse everything from today to back then. This mushroom is helping me completely see them as separate entities. And I know when I'm just feeling purely sad, like the loss of my best friend, this thing that we were supposed to do or that we normally do this time of year, and they're not here. Going to bed and there's no one that I'm touching feet with. He's not spooning around me and holding me. That's about today. But when I start getting these other longer longing feelings that are deeper, I know that's that child. What am I going to do about it? I've got plans again to leave here to go to where it is decriminalized again, because now it's been 6 months since I did high dose psilocybin. Now I'm going to go do it again. And what I'm going to bring to that mushroom now is, now that I'm 6 months healed, let's talk now about how I move forward without my best friend in my life. That relationship is gone. How do I fill that gap? And let's talk about my original wounding and that child's misunderstanding of that relationship and how she got wounded over and over. And these will be my intentions going into that experience, because that is my relationship to others. Make sense? When I come home, then I will need help integrating what surfaces days, weeks, months after that. And I have an integration specialist that works with Amanita, and you can find her at amanitadreamer.net. Natalia, you can find her there. She also does a Zoom in my private membership community once a month, and you can talk to her there. Without these people and their amazing help, I would be so much slower in recovering, and my ability to be processing and growing and continuing to live through my heart and be in acceptance of when my brain is just screaming at me, going off in thoughts in all these different directions, trying to integrate, or my heart is grieving and hurting, or I'm feeling worthless. It's different from a therapist because they're just trying to work the hard way, just trying to pull these memories out, trying to talk you into learning, where these mushrooms actually go in. And when you state what it is that you want with them, you state the intention, you can make your list. And then once you start tripping, you go down your list. It knows where to go in the brain to actually remove those memories, rewrite the memories, give you the understanding, rewrite how you feel about them and your understanding of them, and give you more positive or fixed or tidied up or finished meanings to all of it in place of the pain. Amanita does the same thing. And when you use them together, now that I have time away from psilocybin, now that I feel like I've gotten all I can from Amanita at this particular moment in time, it's time to go back to the psilocybin and work on my relationships now that I've integrated what I learned about my past and today, about my relationship and losing it and how it makes me feel today, and processing and moving the loss and the sadness today versus back then and how I was powerless then and how I'm not powerless now. And as I have worked over the last 6 months with Amanita, I feel like I'm stuck again. I'm at a point now where I'm asking too many questions about him and the last 18 years. But when you said that, did you mean it? But why would you go if this? Yeah, but we had plans to do that. Why would you? Why this? And the loneliness is really, really deepening. Loneliness in the absence of and the loss of and the missing, that's a relational thing. And so now it's time to take that back to the psilocybin. It's going to be painful and difficult, but that's what Amanita's for. It holds your heart. So if you take a high dose of psilocybin and it's painful, Amanita holds your heart. When I high dose psilocybin, I go back on microdosing Amanita because she's so beautiful about holding your heart while you're going through it and integrating all of that. And she's so beautiful about helping you still be able to get up and smile, to purely grieve and like completely open and cry and grieve. But it's like there's this protection around your heart where you don't leap off into hopelessness and worthlessness and all that stuff. You get to sit in this worthiness, in this beautiful space in your heart that just fills you up in this beauty of knowing I'm safe, I'm being loved, I'm being held while I grieve and cry and move through this. So it's a stair-step thing. I mean, I see it as a stair-step thing. As I'm growing, it's Amanita, it's psilocybin. It's Amanita, it's psilocybin. When I'm in the middle of microdosing or I'm getting near the end of that protocol, my protocol's on amanitadreamer.net, and I feel like I've processed what I needed to learn from that, my relationships in the psilocybin space, and I'm feeling stuck and I'm not living through my heart again. I'm beating myself up again. I'm feeling unworthy, unloved, afraid, feeling a lot of anxiety, making decisions and fear. I know it's time to macrodose or high dose the tea, or maybe move over to full muscimol. We'll talk about full muscimol dosing, but you should not do that alone. You should always have a trip sitter for that. And I would say in the high doses of tea, when you're pushing your limit of what you can tolerate in that area, you probably should have somebody with you. You shouldn't do that alone. But I do those to help me like flood immediately right back into my heart. And yeah, I might cry a little bit and grieve a little bit the next day, but mostly it's this influx of worth again, like smacks me around and gets me out of the sadness, the sinking, the hopelessness, or the depression, because this is hard work. Losing an 18-year marriage is hard work. Dealing with a huge traumatic event from your childhood that has then informed the rest of your decisions for the rest of your life, your major injury, that's hard work. Some of you are dealing with some really hard stuff. So you have to give yourself some grace and know that you are going to have to process. And the beauty of the Amanita side of this is I don't feel stuck. I don't feel afraid. I don't feel like I can't. I don't feel afraid I'm going to fall off of some cliff. It just flows. I'm sad. I grieve purely. And then I'm up. I'm fine. I feel better. I go about my day. I sleep well. If I have a rough night, it seems to go in these waves where I can feel lessons coming. I feel it. And then I'll have that rough night. And that tends to happen when I start a new microdosing protocol because I'm processing and I need it. Then in the beginning, I'll have rough dreams and sadness, and I'm fighting and working stuff out, and I'm sad for the next 2 days, and then it lifts. And I feel like I passed through a phase, and then I'll be good for 2 or 3 weeks, and then I'll feel it coming again, and I'll have a rough night, 2 nights, 3 nights, just struggling, vivid dreams, working stuff out, and really just grieving and sad for 2 or 3 days. And then it lifts again. It's beautiful that way because it's the me mushroom, the self mushroom, the healing, the inner core of the self. This is how I use the two in tandem. As far as taking them together, I'm not going to tell you that because I can't practice medicine without a license, but I can tell you. This is the information that I'm just giving you. I'm not telling you what to do. This is not medical advice. I'm telling you anything you can go also look up on Google about the receptors that these things hit. And then I'm telling you what other people tell me that they are doing. And mushroomvoice.com, if you want to talk to other people yourself in our private community, go there and sign up. Just try it out for a month and see if you like it. If you don't like it, drop it. It's worth $20, right? Come hang out with us and come play with me in my dance parties and my show and tells and my weird glasses, and I pull note from the universe cards or runes for you, and we talk about ceremonying and do cacao ceremonies, and yeah, you can come ask me questions over there. Otherwise, go to amanitadreamer.net and get signed up for the newsletter. .net, not .com, .net, and watch all my other stuff over there too. People, what a wild ride. Oh my God. These last 6 months have sucked. They've hurt. I've never been through something so difficult, except clearly when I was 5. This has been the second most painful thing I've ever been through. And yet, I'm still just amazed at the beauty around me and in the world and my life, and getting to write a book about dosing Amanita, and it's a journal and a workbook, and I'm filming a documentary about Amanita, and hopefully getting my products made now out of my house, and growing a community of people that are making friends with each other, about Amanita, and being on amazing podcasts and meeting amazing people. It's hard to be sad when there's so much glad, and there's so much you. I love you, beautiful people. So you can go back on a microdosing regimen. Baby.